And our next guests are here to sound off on taxes, the national debt, other hot economic issues ahead of the election. And they did, just like they did in a recent New York Times piece, let's welcome former SEC Chairman Jay Clayton. He's Apollo independent chair and a CNBC contributor, and Justin Wolfers, a public policy and economics professor at the University of Michigan's Ford School. And initially, I thought just you and Justin had gotten together and written a piece. And I was like, this is like antimatter matter. This is like cats and dogs, like living together. But Justin, you wrote it with Betsy Stevenson on your side, and you had Cohn on your side. So you didn't write it together. Have I got that right now, Jay? Is that how it happened?
Well, we wrote back and forth. We didn't write it together, but it was fun. We had a surprisingly good time doing it.
What did we, Justin? Is if you could pick one thing that you, since we're all coming together someday. What did you come to get? Was there any agreement anywhere? Maybe we have to. We all agree we need some good growth to try to help with the deficit or the debt, the total debt. Did you at least agree on that, Justin?
I think actually there's enormous agreement across both of us. So I'm going to invite Jay to help me here emphasise the huge agreement. So let me start with something I think neither of us said, but we probably both felt, which is this is the most depressing economic policy debate before an election in my lifetime. There was a time when candidates would put out very serious and detailed proposals. There was a time they meant it. There was a time that they addressed things like the public debt. There was a time they hoped that the math would add up. There was a time when they remembered their policies well enough they didn't have to be written on the screen behind them. And so there's a seriousness to the real issues of economics that I feel that this election campaign simply hasn't lived up to.
Is that an area of agreement, Jay?
Well, quickly, yes. And one of the things that's unfortunate is tariffs are either good or bad. Taxes are either good or bad. And we've had. I applaud this show because you've actually. And yesterday I saw Howard on here, Howard Lutnick. And you were quizzing about when are tariffs good and when are they bad. Sometimes they're really good, and sometimes they don't make sense. But we are having a much richer debate on this show than anywhere else. Like tariffs, subsidies, taxes, restrictions, they're all part of the same ball of wax. It's much more complicated, and it will be very good for the American public recognizes this. The American public is a lot smarter than we give them credit for. They know that there's some places where tariffs make a lot of sense, and they know that there's some places where they don't.
Justin, earlier this week, we have gone back and forth on whether it's a spending or a tax problem. And we have had some people say, look, we're basically at 18% in what we collect, and we used to be at 19% of what we spend, and it was only a point difference, and that was almost manageable. Now we're so out of control because we're still at 18% collecting, but we're at 23, headed to 24 on the spending. But there's still plenty of people that just want to stay at 23 or 24 and just, I don't know, tax billionaires, or I don't know what they want to do. They want to find the taxes to keep spending at 23.5. What do you want to do?
Look, mate, I think I want to restore some fairness to the system. The problem is, I think a lot of us would feel a lot happier and a lot more comfortable paying if it didn't feel like some other guy was getting a free ride that he shouldn't be getting. The fact that there are billionaires paying less tax than me as a percent of income really pisses me off. The fact that Republicans decided that they wanted to defund the tax police, therefore effectively giving a tax break to, I think, the least deserving people in society, which is tax cheats, it really frustrates the hell out of me. The fact that there's a carried interest loophole so that people can earn a ton of money and then pass it on to their kids without ever paying tax on it, it's incredibly frustrating. So let's restore trust in the system. Let's make it a whole lot fairer. There used to be a mantra.
You agreed with all that, Jay? This was another area of agreement?
You know what? You found an area of disagreement. Okay?
You're kidding.
Okay? Yeah, let's talk about the IRS and this 85,000 new IRS employees. This is one of the most ridiculous proposals I've ever heard. We have an antiquated IRS, okay? We probably need 20,000 less employees. This is where Elon Musk is right. You had Lonsdale on. The IRS is still using pen and paper to review our taxes. We have a digital economy. We can do this with software, with AI, and eliminate virtually all cheating in a digitized economy.
Jay,
Okay?
I don't disagree with that, but my question is about what kind of investment that requires. And I think you would agree, if you were a business of some sort, you would invest at some level in revenue collection, meaning like if you were not collecting the revenue in a timely or proper way, you would figure out a way to collect that revenue from people who are supposed to be paying you.
Do you think that's more people or better systems? I will bet you, dollars to donuts.
Probably a combination of those things.
No
don't
way.
You think?
No way. It is.
You don't think that there's a mix?
No. I mean, you think about...
Because we're talking about people who are actively who are trying to break the rules.
We have all these Wall Street firms.
Right.
If any of them was still running on pen and paper, they'd be out of business in a day.
Right. No. Technology is a huge piece of this. I'm not going to debate that.
Other countries do this much better than we do. We have an incredibly antiquated system. I'm going to be quite provocative here. I think those 85,000 new agents, new employees, are 85,000 government voters who will continue to vote for big government.
I don't want to take this sidetrack on the IRS. Would you try to make it easier for taxpayers to pay?
Yes.
Okay. The reason I mention that is there have been lots of efforts put forward to literally make it so that the form is easy. You can go on digitally and do it for free, all sorts of things. And the truth is that the group of people who have been outspoken against it have been Republicans, in part because they have historically tried to avoid collecting. That's what's happened.
Let's be clear. We have the most compliant citizenry on taxes in the world. Okay? We should celebrate that. And
compliant because of the W-2 system.
And who runs the W-2 system?
The IRS.
No. Employers run the W-2 system. The private sector runs the best part of our tax collection mechanism. They do it, and they do it electronically. The whole IRS should move to that type of system.
How do you want to tax billionaires, Jay?
What's that?
How do you want to tax? That's Justin's big thing. He doesn't like billionaires paying less than. It's always the same thing.
Okay,
teachers and other.
How are we going to tax, billionaires?
Yep.
If you confiscated their wealth, it would not solve your 19 to 24% problem. Right?
Wouldn't hurt.
Oh, that's great. We should take everybody's money and
Jay, how do you feel that you paid more tax than Trump did last year, mate?
Look, I pay, and I'm you know what? I'm happy to pay. I pay my marginal rate. I'm in New York. I've got no SALT deduction. I've got nothing. I'm happy to pay. My problem is what they do with the money. That's my big problem. And I believe in Musk and Doge and the Department of Government Efficiency. We can do a whole lot better.
But you care that other people are paying a lot less than you who make more than you?
You know what? I think the tax code's pretty fair. Having the top 1%,
so that
what do they
doesn't
pay?
Bother you. The people who make materially more than you pay a materially lower percentage of their taxes. I
don't lose any sleep over it.
You lose no sleep over it. That's interesting. Okay.
Well, it's not income though, right? They make more by taking loans against their stock. Those are the people that you're talking about. So when you say they're not paying lower on the income they're taking.
They make money on dividends or other ways.
Or they run an S corporation and they take every deduction that is known to man.
Let me tell you what I really think about taxes and things. I've worked all over the world. I'm super privileged, seen growth and things like that. There's kind of a natural rate of taxation. It's about a third. People who pay a third, they're fine with it. When you start asking people to pay more of a third of their income, they get a little bit more upset. Less than a third doesn't really work. Start with that.
Justin, if you were king and you were able to do it however you wanted to billionaires, that ain't going to do it. You run out of billionaires. How do you make up for the rest of the tax? Would you just raise marginal rates on everyone, or would you cut any spending? Would you try to do anything with all the transfer payments, all the welfare?
Oh, look, there's a lot that can be done, and, you and I aren't going to solve it in the next 2 or 3 minutes. There's definitely some spending that could be cut. But remember, the old Republican mantra is one worth remembering. It used to be broaden the base and lower the rate. The broaden the base part, this was the mathematics of it, which is it turns out there's so much stuff that we don't tax, so many loopholes, so many ways of reducing your tax bill, that if we start to go back and tax those things again, then there's going to be a whole lot more money left in the pot. You could either use that for spending, or Republicans used to want to use that for lowering the rate. Instead, what we've got now is absolutely silly ideas. I mean, the idea that we should not tax overtime, terrific idea. I'm going to my employer next week and I'm going to say to the University of Michigan, I'm going to work 0 hours this week and 80 hours next week. That makes half of my income now overtime, and I've got a huge tax break out of that. This is the exact opposite of what Republicans used to believe in.